So let's kind of talk a little bit more around, what happened with your grandparents as you grew up, and then we'll segue into some of the learnings that you got from them, in their lifetime. So, how did life proceed with your grandparents from there?
Well, I was much closer with my grandfather, obviously, my dad, because we had so much in common, right? We love sports, love baseball, and he was kind of like my motivator, my coach. He would take me to the games. He'd teach me how to play the game correctly. But not only that, he would teach me the right things in life, right? He'd always talk to me like, you know, a couple things he would always say to me is like, you never let anybody else outwork you, right? You always got to be the hardest working person in the room. You also let people know that your word is valuable, right? So he was just like, even to this day, I'm the same way. I'm like, if I shake your hand and I tell you something, you can take that to the grave, right? Like, your word is very valuable. That you're only as good as your word, right? A man is only as trustworthy as he, comes across to people. But he always instilled all those values to me. Always super. One thing he always has said, hey, in our culture, and I hate to put it on in our culture, but in our culture, the men haven't always had like the best reputation of how to, possibly treat women, or having multiple relationships and multiple families, back in Dominican Republic. But he always taught me like, you respect women, right? You always, your women are the queens, right? And we are here. They're not here to serve us. We're here to work together to create, harmony in our family and things like that. And we support them as much as possible. But you always respect women. You never disrespect them. And he said that's why your dad. He would tell me, as I later on in life, he's like, that's why your dad's not here, unfortunately, right? Because he saw that somebody was disrespecting a queen, and he, took it upon himself to kind of, jump in the situation, putting himself at risk, right? Not knowing what was going to happen ultimately. But, those are the kind of values he instilled in me, was like, always work hard, be a man of your word, respect women, but not just women, but just people in general, right? Respect others' beliefs, right? Even if you don't agree with them, it's okay, right? We can all have, different opinions, but you respect it, and you just treat people well, like, know that you should treat people that the way you want to be treated, the way you want your mom to be treated, the way you want your wife to be treated, or anybody else in your family. So those are kind of the lessons that I grew up with, and I'm taking that every single day, right? As I continue this path, and then my grandma, I'm actually closer with her now,
Mhm.
than when I was, growing up, just because I had such a bond with him. But the reason I'm much closer with her now is because, unfortunately, he passed away. He's not around anymore, right?
Yeah.
So, his spirit lives through her, right? And there's one thing that he told me on his deathbed, and he said to me, he's like, "You got to make me a promise." And I said, "What do you need?" He's like, "You got to make sure you take care of her always."
Yeah.
So that's a promise that I am keeping to this day, and I will keep until I can't any longer, until I'm not no longer on this earth. So